Alright, my name is Brendan Grondin, and I'm going to be continuing off the last video I made talking about themes in the Old Testament. Now, in the last video, we talked about lamenting and kingship, how those are big themes. This one, we're going to be talking about more how they fit into the meta-narrative of the Old Testament. Now, starting with lamenting, there's many times in the Old Testament that they lament. Now, we can start at the beginning, talking about Adam and Eve in the garden in Genesis 1 through 3, and in the fall, after Adam ate of the fruit, they realized that they were naked, they were afraid. In a way, they could be lamenting, or they were lamenting, having this new knowledge of good and evil, and separation, this painful separation from the garden, and the pain of childbirth, where they would have to still reach out to God and ask for forgiveness. But now that pain was in the world, there was something for us to lament about. There's something for us to reach out to God and ask for his forgiveness on. Now, another part of in the Old Testament where we see lamenting is the people in in Exodus, when they exited Egypt. In Exodus 32, the people were scared and they were yelling at Aaron, and they're like, the gods of Egypt never did this to us. And in Exodus 32, they built a golden calf, and that is not the right way of lamenting. But it is a form. It was a form that they were afraid, that they were in pain. They've been wandering the desert for a long time now, and they needed to reach out and yell at God. Again, they did it in the wrong way, because a little while later, Moses walks down the mountain and says, in the first commandment, thou shalt not have any other gods before me, because God is a jealous God. But the people needed a way of an expression. They needed a way to reach out and say that they were in pain, to say that they were hurting, and this was the best way that they know how. And then we see in the Psalms, the Psalms is mostly lamenting. It's mostly stories. Not all of them have that rejoice and that happy period afterwards, but a lot of them are lamenting. A lot of them are kings or poets or writers that are scared and they don't know how to handle the situation around them. And then we also see in the prophets, in the story of Hosea, God is lamenting to his people in a way. He is using Hosea and Gomer and their children as a way of saying, you hurt me. You did this to me, and therefore you are not my people. And that I am a sovereign God. Now, we also see in the book of Lamentations the people crying back out to God and saying, God, why have you taken away from us? We're confused, we're scared, we're lonely. And so this theme of lamenting is a huge piece of the Old Testament. If Adam never sinned, we would never feel this pain. We would never have to deal with these emotions, these feelings, all this stuff that we embrace. And so by God giving us a way of lamenting, he's giving us a way of expressing our pain, our fear, our confusion to him, where that he can now reach out and embrace us to give us a new way of rejoicing, to give us a new hope. By them lamenting, God was able to use Isaiah to tell them there's hope. There's hope. And so this back and forth, this living in pain, this expression of pain, God was finally able to tell them, I love you and I will send you hope. But if we never experienced this pain, if we never had a way of communication to it, we would not, the people of Israel and us now would not be in a place to receive that hope, because we wouldn't know how to deal or how to express these painful emotions. Now, the second theme, kingship, in the overall meta-narrative, right? Well, we can see God's overall kingship throughout the whole Bible. In Genesis 1 and 2, he makes creation, showing his ultimate kingship. And then in 1 Samuel 8, the people of Israel want a physical king because they can't handle not having one like the countries around them. And so, therefore, it leads us to the books 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, where God gives them a king. He gives them Saul, and then David, and then Solomon, and then Solomon's descendants that in the split nation of Israel. But in that time, God was still their king. In the beginning of 1 Samuel and the books before that, God led them through the judges, and he was their king of them during that time. During the kings, the ones I mentioned, God sat with his people. He used the prophets to speak to his kings so that way they may lead his nation. And once the kings were destroyed and the Israelites were in exile under other kings, they didn't like it. They didn't know what to do. They were confused. Back to that Lamentations. They were lamenting, God, why have you taken our kings from us? Why have you forsaken us? You are our true king. Why are you left us? And so at the end of Isaiah and then Zechariah, we can see that there's coming of this future king, this Messiah. And so this kingship in the meta-narrative is a huge piece because it starts from the beginning. It starts when God created everything. He is the sovereign ruler of everything he created. And even though people keep breaking it, he still shows that he is king. He still has the authority. He still makes miracles happen in the Old and New Testament. He still makes things happen today. So this kingship is one of the biggest pieces because he is our leader. He is our God. He is our king. And he will send the future king, Jesus. All right, so I hope that kind of explains how these themes fit into the meta-narrative. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.